our speakers would lay out how we plan to discuss this theme over a series of webinars, and this being the first of that series. So I thank you for joining us. We have a panel that will have a discussion on that theme or on that sub-theme. But before we get there, we have quite eminent guests with us. We have people from the Responsible Gambling Foundation. We also have a representative of the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition who will give us a brief overview from a legislative and policy point of view of what our position is currently and what we are looking at in the near future from a gambling regulation point of view. So without further ado, I would like to start the webinar and open our program by handing you over to our Chief Operations Officer, Ms. Poppy Koyama from the National Gambling Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and our distinguished guests. COVID-19 pandemic has already significantly impacted in the business and will have a potential lasting impact in the economy. Many industries in South Africa have been badly hit, including the gambling industry, which has been heavily impacted by the pandemic. Land-based casinos and other gambling establishments saw a massive losses following closure when the national lockdown came into effect on the 27th of March in 2020. According to various reports, land-based casinos have the largest gambling market share in South Africa, but they have steadily been losing market share to online casinos. This shift has been accelerated by COVID-19. Research reveals that while the traditional gambling industry is facing unparalleled losses, online gambling sites have reported a surge in activity since the national lockdown came into effect. Many punters reverted to online gambling since they could not access land-based casinos as a result of the lockdown, thus becoming home-based punters. The social distancing restrictions that are in place under level 1 could be the deterring factor for punters to return to land-based casinos. Hence, there are emerging trends in the gambling industry where people choose to gamble at home rather than to frequent a gambling outlet because of the convenience it provides and how to physically distance themselves as per government regulations. For all businesses, what they will find that is COVID-19 has changed many consumers' attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. If they are not reaching them online, where many of them are spending the majority of their time, they will soon find themselves obsolete. There has been a persistent move towards online commerce and digitization in many sectors, while pre-COVID-19 consumers have increasingly living their lives online. The pandemic has already been credited with accelerating this online migration to even greater degree as consumers are forced to socially distance themselves. While COVID-19 has resulted in both temporary and permanent trends across many sectors, shift towards online seems to be here to stay. Online gambling remains illegal in the country, but that has not deterred punters to engage in this illegal activity. It is thus important for the gambling industry as a whole to innovate and leverage on the opportunities brought about disruptors like COVID-19 to ensure their survival and adaptability. It is clear that the logic that applied yesterday in the gambling industry cannot continue as it has become obsolete and irrelevant. The new normal requires a paradigm shift where technology will be embraced and used to the advance of all involved in the industry. What is new normal, we ask? The answer to this question lies within our ability and capability to innovate and take the real lead in the gambling industry to keep abreast with what other sectors of the economy are doing still remaining within the confines of the law. Online gambling should not be the only topic discussed when technology subject is brought about in the gambling industry. There are so many other transformative technologies to be explored and employed in the gambling sector. With this theme will broadly